Traders, we got a big week ahead for the dollar. Last week, all of you guys screamed at me. I'm very sorry. And Brexit vote pushed back to March 29th. Let's talk about it here on the channel. Roll the intro. All right, traders, what's up, guys? Welcome back to, I'm finally gonna say it because I've been doing my research, and this weekend, I looked at a couple other Forex channels, all mediocre at best. Guys, welcome back to the #1 Forex trading channel on YouTube, at least when it comes to fundamental analysis. All right, I don't know what the technical junkies are doing, but when it comes to fundamentals, you guys know that you're not getting any better information anywhere else. All right, guys, I'm Cleveland Bishop, head trader here with the top traders, and I'm excited for you guys to be back. Okay, so we have a big week ahead. There's a lot coming out when it comes to fundamental data, and I'm gonna give you guys all the details real quick. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure that you guys subscribe, and if you like the video, because you're gonna like the video, so you might as well like the video for your boy. I very much appreciate it. All right, we had a pretty interesting week last week as it pertained to markets. That was March week 1, but February week 4 was even more insane. All right, I put out a video titled here. All right, I put the thumbnail down below, and it actually did pretty good in regards to the position that we were looking for. Okay, we're looking for an opportunity on the pound. We thought that there were a lot, since there was so much going on when it came to Brexit negotiations. We did believe that Theresa May was going to push back the Brexit date instead of March 2nd to whatever else, and she did that, and it gave us the trade that we were looking for. Let's roll the tape on that so you guys can see exactly what the setup was. All right, take a look at this. There it is. All right, so guys, I do think that by the end of this week, we will probably see a market above where it is right now. It will probably see a market above this pretty large structure here, and that's going to be pretty interesting to see. So the type of breakout, though, the type of strategy that you would have to execute in that style environment is a breakout strategy. All right, I mean, there's no real other situation that you can put yourself in. If you think markets are going to be very, very, very momentous, right, and you think they're just going to have a lot of buy-side pressure, then you're probably not going to get any kind of pullback, right? You may start to range just a bit, but you guys are going to have a really shallow pullback before you get that pop to the upside. So that's what I'm looking for. So that video, I think, almost set a standard for what you guys can expect here on the channel. Here are all the comments. Take a look at all these different comments that you guys mentioned in regards to everyone that was able to get in on that trade. And that's just the comments on the channel. I had dozens of people emailing me, talking about how that pound opportunity was an awesome, one of the best trades that they had. Pound ended up rocketing like 250 pips on that particular trade. And of course, I had a bunch of members, of course, they got it first. A bunch of members also do really well in regards to that position. Guys, this is what happened the week afterwards. All right, the week afterwards, we didn't push out a Monday market breakdown, a weekly Forex analysis video. And these are the comments from last week, okay, March week 1, when you guys were expecting, I guess, me to follow through and do another content segment like that. So first things first, I know you guys love me so much. That made me feel real good. I really appreciate it. All right, and I appreciate that there are people on the channel. I don't know, I built this YouTube to help people with like that entry-level knowledge when it came to fundamental analysis, and obviously understanding and rationalizing how markets work relative to how markets move. And that's really why we're here. We really want to expand the idea of fundamentals, all right? But what I don't want the channel to turn into is like a signal channel where you guys come here and you're expecting every single week that we're gonna just be popping off, you know, ridiculous trades, all right? We do have a lot of proprietary stuff that we leave for the Top Trader Academy, right? And that's where that sits. So there are gonna be scenarios where you guys will be able to catch some pretty awesome positions if you guys pay attention to the channel, right? 100%. That's why we tell you to turn your post notifications on. But folks, all right, look, this is about knowledge first, and then you can apply that knowledge, and you guys won't even need this channel, right? You guys will maybe use it for referencing, but you guys will be able to craft your own opinions and execute your own positions by yourself. That is the goal. That is why we are here, right? So there's also another way you guys can do that if you want. We have something called the 45-day fundamental challenge that we were just launching. We're super excited to that. It's a relaunch. Okay, you guys can check that out as well. The link is in the bio. And again, it's based off of everything I'm teaching you guys right now. You can find that same information in the 45-day challenge. I'm doing free trial, so you guys can just try it out for free if you want to. Okay, so we're gonna put some positions out today. I'm gonna give you guys some ideas that I have today as well. But folks, if those positions don't work out, I don't want you in my inbox doing the opposite of what you did the week before, okay? It's just the way the game works. Some positions make money, some positions lose money. You guys can understand that. It just really worked out. Most of the time we're doing pretty well though, so I don't know. All right, so anyway, folks, look, there's a lot happening right now when it comes to markets. Sorry for the long diatribe. I want to break down what's happening this week and what we're looking at as it pertains to some of our currencies. Okay, so I'm going to put up the title below, the timeline below of exactly what we're going to be talking about first, and I do want to go over what we see happening right now with the pound. Okay, so when it comes to the pound, as you guys know, we have just made a pretty dramatic sell-off. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you guys right now what we're looking at on the pound index. And you guys will notice the pound index has rocketed to the upside, right? So this was the setup we had. We had a little flag pattern that appeared on the pound index, and we thought that this could give us a really good opportunity to see markets break back to the upside and test these highs again. And this was that big trade that everyone got in about 2 weeks ago, the last week of February, right? And so we saw markets really holding that high for a second. That high is a really important one to us. Maybe if you draw from the low to the high real quick from a Fibonacci perspective, if you guys notice, markets haven't retraced much. And so whenever that happens, we start to look at that as an opportunity to basically say, okay, well, hey, can markets continue to hold these highs? Have they potentially overpriced this asset? And anytime you can have any kind of solid rationalization that that is true, then what do? You get a pretty decent sized sell-off. And so obviously today, you guys can see that markets are pulling back just a bit. And this is just what happens when you enter into these massively volatile market situations where you get these massive moves to the upside, what's called an inefficient leg. You get these inefficient legs back to the upside, and then sometimes you just get those pullbacks. All right, pretty interesting stuff going on. So right now in this high volatile environment, we don't really see too much opportunity. When you get these massive rips, that was really the opportunity. The up move was the opportunity, and on the down move was the opportunity. So we need markets to come together a little bit more when it comes to this pound, at least, so that way once we get a good structure, we have something to actually play, right? So it's something that we're gonna keep an eye on, but right now for us, pound, not something that we're gonna be playing at the moment. Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit more also about the dollar. Now the dollar is an interesting situation. Here's our dollar index. You guys can see last week was a pretty good week for the dollar. We had a rocketed move back to the upside here, and you can see that across obviously all of the dollar counterparts. But many people are saying that the dollar is at its all-time high. Everyone's been saying that now for really the past 4 or 5 weeks. Definitely February, definitely the ending of January. And for me, I'm somewhat in alignment with that, but they have to stop. You see all these analysts on maybe Seeking Alpha or CNBC or Bloomberg. They're continuously saying this is it, and they're assuming a capitulation, just a massive run sell side. We know that's not how it works, right? We know that markets take time to start to have these different types of movements. And so it's going to be really important for us to make sure that we understand the catalyst that's going to drive markets to that sell side environment. So for us, again, even right now, yes, there might be some stuff that we're looking at for the dollar. Take a look here. What I want you guys to notice is, at least from a Fibonacci perspective, when you look at the low to the high for this dollar index, this is the low. Let's see, that's the January 2018 low. All right, and you guys can notice again, markets are really still consolidated around that 23.6 and then 38.2. So what does that mean for us? Again, there hasn't been a substantial turnaround. This market is still fairly aggressively holding its highs, right? It really is. And so for us, this just basically means, okay, well, can the dollar sustain this run? Right now, you do have Powell talking about how the global economy is slowing down, global equities are slowing down, so there's less of a need to continue to raise rates, and all that's doing is making market participants more cautious about buying the dollar, which again could lead to this dollar selling off potentially. So again, this is something else that we're looking at. We haven't looked at any pairs yet, but don't worry, we do have some setups coming in for you guys when it comes to actual pair trades. So take a look here. Okay, this is our Euro index. Again, Euro index right now at an all-time low for 2019. And this is going to be the first setup that I see right now when it comes to our markets that might lead us to a potential opportunity. Okay, now here's the thing. Yes, we're heading over to the Euro USD, and yes, the dollar has a lot of massive data that's coming out over the next few weeks. So we have retail sales, we have PPI, and we have CPI all coming out this week. I think the first release is going to be retail sales tomorrow. Tuesday we have CPI, and then we have Producers Price Index. I'll tag the video below about what CPI is so you guys can have a better idea if you're still pretty new. All right, but basically, again, CPI for us, Consumer Price Index, basically represents the amount of price increases you see in the global economy when it relates back to consumer prices. So the higher we see consumer prices, not global economy, the US economy, the higher we see consumer prices, the more likely you're going to see inflation coming into the economy, right? More what's called monetary velocity. That's just when there's a lot more currency movement inside the general economy. So that's something that, again, right now, when it comes to how the dollar is trading, it is improving. The economy is still growing. We're not going to relate that back to Trump. Trump is taking all the credit for it, but who knows? Maybe some of his fiscal policies have just gotten people more excited about investing and dealing in markets in some capacity. Last week we had non-farm payroll come out, only 20,000 jobs added, but the labor market ended up tightening again. We're at 3.8% unemployment. We were at 3.9% unemployment. So we're seeing improvements here. This is all building a case for Powell. All right. So we're going to have to keep a lookout for what's happening with the dollar relative to the Euro USD. So this is the setup right now here for the Euro USD based off of all those different facts. Again, one relates to the euro and one relates to the dollar index. Okay, so right now we hit off on the low. We hit off on back here on what's that's $11.70. So we're at the $11 highs. If we pull all the way back out, maybe I'll show you guys what we're looking like on the weekly time frame. You guys will see we're still sitting right back on that massive structure from 2015, 2016. This is our 2017 run up. This is our 2018 sell off that had that dollar killing it. Okay, and then right now we're sitting right on that 61.8 here. If I pull off this, maybe you guys can see it a little bit better. So I don't see any reason why this market can't hold this price level, right? I really do believe this market should hold this price level because, again, if we get the dollar weakness and if we get that euro strength, all that did for us recently, this past week, was potentially give us a better buying opportunity for the Euro USD here. And so what I've been looking for, honestly, is any kind of price action or any kind of price movement. I'll clear the charts real quick so you guys can see this a little bit better. Any kind of price action in regards to markets coming back up into this area here, I would honestly like to see markets. Again, they've obviously pulled back down sell side, but maybe we can get a little consolidation around this price area. And then once those CPI numbers come out, who knows? You might get a lot of volatility, but it'd be nice to see a re-entry of this entire price zone. Okay, that's really what I am looking for there. So this is the one of the setups. Again, we only had one setup 2 weeks ago. We have one setup now. We like to really be specific as it pertains back to certain pairs or certain markets that we're trading. We don't look at we look at every single currency pair, but when it comes to focusing down on that specific trade, I really want to focus down. I really want to make sure I know exactly what I'm doing and what both economies are doing as well. All right. So one last thing I want to talk to you guys real quick is Canada and oil prices. All right. This is a pretty interesting setup that we have kind of seen play itself out over the past few weeks. Right here, this is oil prices. Right. And so for the past few weeks, we've been saying how oil and Canada are very highly correlated. Well, take a look at this. All right. If we pull open and take a look back over at the Canadian dollar index. OK, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to shrink this over so you guys can see that a little bit better. Right, so here you go. So this high here represents October, right? The first week of October. Guys, this same high right here, as you guys can notice, represents the same week in October. Okay, what does this low represent? All right, that's the ending of January. Ending of December week 4. Well, what do you guys think this low is here? December week 4. Okay, the high, and this is where things start to get interesting because now you see that Canada has pulled back dramatically, but oil is sustaining. So we were highly correlated with oil for quite some time. We were in a 90% correlation when it came to the daily and the weekly price movement, which was a massive opportunity. We had a massive oil trade back in January, taking markets back to the upside here. And we were playing that oil trade on the Canadian dollar. So that's awesome. We're literally trading commodities through our currencies, all right? This is the only stuff you can do, again, when you're assessing fundamentally why the asset price is moving. There's no amount of technicals that's going to tell you what's going to happen when it's just literally being trekked by oil. But here's where things start to get interesting. We ended up making a high here in February, as we did here, but now you guys can see that the Canadian dollar is pulling back just a bit. And so this mostly deals with some of the risk off effect when it pertains to emerging market economies, but also last week Canada didn't have such great earning reports when it came to its GDP. They did not raise interest rates. Right now they're sitting at 1.75% when it comes to rates. And also their retail sales numbers have been going down. So the Canadian economy is now affecting, obviously, the Canadian dollar. Okay, so no longer, at least for right now, are we seeing a correlation between oil prices in the Canadian dollar, but who knows, that might come back into sync. Okay, so for, again, right now this week, I am looking for, I don't know if I mentioned it, I am looking for just a little bit of US dollar weakness, and it does show up well on the currency index. This is stuff that we're going to be talking about in probably a little bit more detail inside of the 45-day challenge membership area. So again, if you guys want to get involved in that, it's a free trial, come check it out. And we're also going to be talking about it again, maybe later on this week once we start to get some results. All right, so guys, look, I'm really excited for what we got going on this week. We have an awesome segment coming out with one of my old mentors, a big money manager here in Atlanta, that I really want you guys to pay attention to. So make sure you turn your post notifications on. We're really about to go shoot that content segment right now. All right, really excited for it. And if you guys ever got any questions, comment down below. Don't blow me up if some of these trades don't work out. I put the risk disclaimer out in front for that exact reason. Be careful, folks. Okay, I don't want you guys betting all your bank on some of the top traders' trades. All right, be careful. All right, guys, look, I'll talk to you guys later on this week. Have a good one.